all of you tonight. And I would like to share with you, this channel is a channel in which we try to share some ideas about religion, hereafter, messenger, prophethood, and different aspects of Quran and so on. So until now, we talked about different aspects of life. Why do we live here? What's the meaning of life? How can we understand that there is a hereafter after this life? And we talked about wisdoms of Ramadan and so on. So tonight, I would like to share with you one topic from the collection of Risale-i Nur. Risale-i Nur is a collection in which there are multiple books, and it's a modern interpretation of Quran. It's not like a regular tafsir, regular interpretation. It mainly takes topics and then gives a Quranic or Islamic interpretation or understanding of that topic. So today I would like to mention several things about what Quran teaches us really. As a Muslim, what does it teach to me? Or as a non-Muslim, what can a non-Muslim can learn from the teachings of Quran and compare it with the current understanding, the Western civilization? What is it proposing us? What is it suggesting us in personal life or in our social life? So it's going to be a kind of comparison between Quran's teaching and the non-Quranic way of thinking, non-Quranic way of approaching certain aspects of life, like personal life or social life. So I will start with the personal life and try to compare the teachings of Quran. What does Quran teaches us in terms of our personal life, and non-Quranic approaches? What does it teach? Like especially the Western understanding, Western philosophy today is affecting many people, including Muslims, including many people all around the world. So I will try to do a comparison on this topic. So I will, as I mentioned already, as I do every session, every Sunday we are having one session on one aspect of Quran, one aspect of Islam, one aspect of religion. So today I would like to be focusing on Quranic version, Quranic understanding of personal life and social life. What are the principles that Quran is teaching us in terms of our social life and in terms of our personal life? And there will be a comparison between the teachings of Quran and the lessons that non-Quranic approaches or Western civilization, Western philosophy is trying to teach us. Western philosophy have two sides, as Bediüzzaman mentions. He says positive West and negative West. So positive West is trying to come up with solutions for the problems of humanity in terms of technology, science, and so on. But there is another aspect of Western civilization which is trying to intoxicate people. It's trying to just show a life only for pleasure, only for living their lives without any meaning. Just we are here to take pleasure and so on. So there are many aspects of that negative negative Western approach or negative Western lessons that we are getting. Like it's a kind of propaganda. We always hear it. It's in the movies, in the social media, in many places. You can see those kind of teachings or lessons that are given continuously. So this comparison between Western, like negative Western approach or civilization and Quranic civilization and Quranic teachings about personal and social life. So when we talk about, as I said, I'm reading from Risale-i Nur collections, especially from the words. There is a book called Words, and in this one chapter of that book is called 12th chapter, 12th word, and in that 12th word I took some parts from it, and then it's like It starts with that the wisdom of the wise Quran, Quran Hakim, and the moral training it gives to individual life, human life, may be understood by comparing it with the lesson offered by the philosophical wisdom. So now we will do a comparison, okay? A sincere student of philosophy becomes like a pharaoh. You know, pharaoh is a symbol. He is the arrogant guy, and he is the self-centered person, and he thinks that he is the god. He can control everything, and he's not only a historical symbol, historical character, but it has let's say branches. It has other things like other people like that pharaoh that we have against like Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. So I would like to thank B18 to be here, and we are talking about the wisdom of Quran and the book that we are taking as a kind of masterpiece for our religion in Islam, and the teachings of Quran in terms of our personal life and social life. And there is a comparison between Quran's teaching and lessons that are taught in our daily life from other sources. A sincere student of philosophy or the Western approach, the common approach that is now given to humanity, becomes like a pharaoh. Yet he is a humiliated pharaoh who worships even the most insignificant thing for personal benefits, self-interest. He accepts anything profitable as his Lord. So he says, I am the Lord. I am the God of everything. Like you see in social life, there are people who are like pharaohs, right? They think they are the best. They think they know everything and so on. But at the same time, those same guys worship even the most insignificant things for personal benefits. If they see a benefit, if they see a self-interest in certain things, then they become like the worshippers of that thing. He accepts anything profitable as his Lord. So normally the definition of Lord, definition of God is like, or the worshiping to the Lord, worshiping God, worshiping the Lord means like you are trying to have the Lord or the God be pleased with you, with your actions, with your thoughts, with your approaches, right? So if a person worships even the insignificant thing for their personal benefit or self-interest, then this will be his or her Lord, because now he can benefit from that thing. This student of the philosophy, the negative philosophy, is rebellious and stubborn. However, for the sake of a small pleasure, he accepts the lowest humiliation. Like Satan, he may even kiss the feet of powerful people for a trivial gain, showing degradation while insisting on his pride. So he's so stubborn and rebellious. For the sake of small pleasure, he accepts the lowest humiliation. You can see those kind of people. Like they are like pharaohs, they are stubborn people, but they are kissing the feet of powerful people for a trivial gain. Those characterless people, you see that in our daily life. So it is like a very common these days. You can see those kind of people around us. He is like tyrannical egoist, yet since he finds no true point of reliance, no inner support in his heart, he is in reality extremely weak, merely a self-displaying despot, one who pretends to be powerful. So do you see those kind of tyrannical egoists? They are like powerful guys, but they are really in their hearts they are weak. They don't have inner support. They really they are extremely weak in their hearts, even though they pretend to be powerful, they are really not that powerful. They are very weak and they are very frightened for a little kind of problem. Okay, such a student is selfish. Student of this philosophy, Western negative philosophy, is selfish and self-seeking. His ultimate aim is to satisfy the desires of the ego, the stomach, and the sexual appetite, and he cleverly pursues personal advantage even under the cover of collective or social interests. So, as I said, the student of this negative philosophy, this understanding of today's world, his ultimate, the people, many people's ultimate goal is to satisfy their desires in terms of their ego. They are only talking about what will they eat, or what will they have relations with, and so on and so forth. So he cleverly pursues personal advantage even under the cover of collective or social interest. They pretend to be like socially aware people. They try to be environmentally aware people and so on, but they really would like to get benefit from that collective or social situation. So, what did we say about the teachings of the today's let's say today's understanding, today's approach in terms of personal life? The student of the wrong philosophy, wrong understanding, they feel like they are like pharaohs. They are stubborn. They are egoistic. They are selfish and self-seeking people. But at the same time, they worship to the most insignificant thing for personal interest. They may even kiss the feet of powerful people for a trivial gain. They can they can show that they are powerful, but inner support doesn't exist, so they become like a very weak, extremely weak person, and they only think about satisfying their egos and their or fulfilling their sexual appetite and the stomach. So this really is a nice analysis of today's understanding. Like if you watch the movies, social media, and the messages that all of these are giving us is being like this. But Quran, on the other hand, is trying to give us another way of wisdom, another way of approach in this life. Quran is teaching that we are the servant of God. We are the servant of the creator of this universe. But we do not degrade ourselves by worshiping even the greatest of created beings. You know, we are the slaves or the servants of one God, and we are saying that we are not the servant of anything else. We are not kissing the feet of any other created beings. Makhluk, we say it. So we are not really worshiping anything other than God himself. So also we are honorable servants who does not take even make even paradise a kind of ultimate goal of our worship. We would like to have the pleasure of God. We would like to have a connection with God, and the paradise is a kind of extra benefit from what Allah will give us. But the main thing is we are honorable servants. We do not have any extra intentions other than getting the pleasure of or being pleased by God Himself. And Quran is teaching us that we should be humble, we should be gentle, we should be balanced, and we will never willingly humiliate other people, anything other than our Creator. We will never willingly humiliate ourselves before anything other than His Creator. You know, we do sujood, we call it prostration, and that kind of we put ourselves, we put our foreheads on the ground, and we are showing that we are really weak, and we only want the connection between us and the God. We don't want to prostrate in front of anyone. We are taught by Quran to be humble, because I always tell to my students, like, a over infinity is always zero. Even though you are 1,000 or 1 million or 1 billion, when you compare yourself with the infinity, it is always zero, right? We are almost zero. We should understand that all the power that we have, all the knowledge that we have, all the health we have, all the power that we are using daily is coming from God Almighty. So if you feel this way, and you feel like it's not yours, it is not owned by you, it's really given to you, so that you become gentle, you become humble, you never humiliate others, and you never become humiliated before others. So anyone above you, your boss or your let's say someone high ranked or something like that, we don't feel like he's our sustainer, he is our giver, and so on. We really put ourselves in such a mood that we are the servant of one God, not anyone else. We feel the poverty and weakness in our hearts. Quran teaches us that we are weak, we have poverty, but at the same time we are spiritually self-sufficient through the eternal treasures our generous Lord has prepared for us in the hereafter. So even though if we have problems in life, if we feel powerless, if we feel weak and so on, we know that we have God Almighty always supporting us. He has prepared an eternal award place, like a paradise for all of us, and we only rely on the infinite power of our Lord. We know that He is truly strong. We don't bow down in front of any other powers in our world. So you may do the comparison, right? So on one side, tyranny, egoism, self-seeking, self-centered, and only desiring satisfying the desires and so on. And on the other side, humbleness, gentleness, being servant, being the only servant of God, not anyone else. We are worshiping to one God, not any other interests, any other things, any other people, so that it makes us spiritually self-sufficient and powerful in that sense. Even though we are weak, even though we are poor, we may feel the spiritual self-sufficiency and spiritual power in our hearts. So this shows us that Quran is teaching a different approach, a different way of personal life. So in my personal life, I'm a teacher. I see my students as a kind of, let's say we call it amana. It's given to me, and I am trying to help them to improve themselves. I'm not there to satisfy my ego. I'm not there to like break their hearts and so on. I become so, let's say, careful about in my relations with my wife, with my kids, with my students, with my friends, with my colleagues. Even though I am their superior, I am in a humble mood. I'm there to serve them and so on. And even though there are some, let's say, interests that seems to be very appealing, then I try to be calm, and I try to really be careful about wanting that interest. It's not about like satisfying our desires, being always thinking about sexual appetite and so on and so forth. We really become in the limits of our Creator. So we can understand that the moral training produced by these two kinds of wisdom becomes clear through comparing their students. So if we become the students of Quran, then we become like the second examples that I try to give you. And if we become the student of the negative philosophy or negative Western philosophy, then we will be on the first example that I shared. So we should be comparing these two types of trainings, two types of lessons that we people are getting. Let me remind once again, even though we may be Muslims, even though you may see Muslims around you, that they might be affected by the negative philosophy, negative understanding that has been suggested, that has been proposed to us. Like they say, you have to be powerful, you have to satisfy your needs, you have to think in terms of interest, you have to show that you are self-confident and so on. Okay, we will be self-confident, but it shouldn't be like an egoistic and self-seeking and self-centered. We should be in a balanced mood. We should be calm. We should be humble. We should be in the service of others. We should not always think about only ourselves, but we should have a circle of, let's say, people that we are trying to help in their spiritual and physical well-being. For example, in Ramadan, we are giving charity. We are giving zakah, we call it. We have to give like at least 2.5% of our wealth to the needy people around the world, starting from your own relatives and your neighbors and so on. So it really gives us an understanding that we are not here only for ourselves. I'm also teaching this to my students, even though they may be coming from a very wealthy family, they might have good cars, they might have good villas and so on. It is not their only purpose. It shouldn't be their only purpose to have a wealthy life, comfortable life, and so on. They have to be thinking about others. They have to be thinking about improve their inner self. They have to have a better self-disciplined life and with a humble, gentle, and understanding person. I pray for myself and for my kids, for example. May Allah give us a good ethical manner. Good ethics, good morals is very critical in our personal life. It makes us a good person. It makes us, let's say, self-satisfied person, and then a really happy person. The second part of the session, I will try to give you the social aspect of Qur'an's teaching and philosophical wisdom. Again, negative philosophy that is very common these days. What is it giving us as a teaching, and what is Qur'an is teaching us in terms of our social life? So let me, again, I'm trying to read from Risale-i Nur collections, and it's from the book called Words, and this is from the 12th word, and it's mainly talking about the wisdom of Qur'an, the civilization that Qur'an is trying to give us for our personal and for our social life. So the negative philosophical wisdom in social life accepts power as the fundamental point of reliance. So the people are in their movies, in their social media sharings, in many other things like the politics and so on. Power is very important for them. And the goal of all relations, all people, is the benefit or this interest. You see that in, let's say, international relations, they say that this is for the interest of our nation, this is the interest of our country. They always talk about interest in everything, in their financial transactions, in their politics, in their even in helping others. They have this interest notion in their actions. The second one is its rule of life is conflict, struggle. So there's always a struggle between people, different layers of people, different. Even when you see the documentaries about wildlife, you can see that like the lions are trying to go and kill the innocent, let's say, animals, the weak animals. They are trying to show that there is a struggle, there is a conflict between everything in life. And so that they should be let's say, they should be ready for this kind of a conflict or struggle. When you think about office life, when you think about people in certain companies, they have a conflict all the time. They are trying to like be the boss of others. They try to have more interest in all the actions. They don't have a let's say understanding of being in a team. They just always think about their own self-interest, and there is always a conflict between companies, the different let's say layers of people, different sociological backgrounds, ethnicities, and so on. The bond uniting communities is what did I tell you about social training given by philosophical wisdom or West negative philosophy? Power as the point of reliance. If you are powerful, you are rightful. Okay? The second thing is interest. Their goal is interest. Their goal is to get benefit. The rule of life is conflict or struggle. And the final one is uniting bond, or the communities are united with racialism and negative nationalism. Racialism is an understanding, it's not racism, but they think about their race, their nation as the main point of uniting communities. And now, what shall we see from power being the point of reliance, interest, conflict, and racialism and negative nationalism? It results is the stimulation and expansion of human desires and material needs. However, you may understand that the nature of power leads to aggression. So I'm powerful, I'm going to attack on the weak nations. I have the power, I'm gonna oppress the people who are weak, who are poor, and so on. Even I was seeing this, my father was a soldier, officer in the army, and I was seeing this among the soldiers. Some soldiers are more clever, they are more powerful, they understand what's going on, but some others are coming from villages, they don't have a lot of wisdom, and they don't have a lot of vision about life and so on. Those powerful, clever guys are oppressing the others. They are letting them do the jobs, do the things, and those clever and powerful guys are using or abusing them in that sense. So power leads to aggression. Second thing, benefit cannot satisfy everyone. I will have benefit, you will have benefit, another one is wanting their benefits. And now what's going to happen? It leads to competition and fighting. I have to get the whole slice or the whole cake. The other one also wants the more cake from it. Another one wants to get more from everything. So it leads to competition. This competition is not positive competition. It creates a kind of friction all the time. Also, conflict naturally produces confrontation. If there's a conflict, if there is a struggle in life, in our families, even there is a conflict. In our office life, there is a conflict. There is a struggle between people, between different, let's say, understandings, and this naturally produces confrontation. There's a kind of fighting, there's a kind of clash all the time between different parties, different nations, different understandings, different philosophies, and so on. Racialism survives by dominating or consuming others, therefore producing aggression. If a race, if a nation says they are the chosen ones, they are better than everyone else, then they become dominating others, they become consuming others, they become, this really becomes like a kind of aggression. The other nation says the same thing. Two nations are now in a kind of conflict in that manner. So using this philosophy, power, interest, conflict, negative nationalism, all these creates aggression, fighting, confrontation, and like abuses and many other things. Because of this philosophy, true human happiness has been taken away. You see that in many nations, in many countries, people are not happy. People are having problems. People are having fights over many things. People have always confrontations. People have aggressions between each other. They fight with their armies. They fight with their social media. They fight with their money. They fight with their other resources that they have. What the Quran teaches us, however, instead of power, it accepts truth and justice, or we call it haqq, as the point of support. We believe that if you are, if you have the truth, if you have the rights, then you are the powerful. Not the powerful ones are the right ones all the time. It's vice versa. If you are righteous, if you are justice, if you have justice, if you have the truth, then you are the powerful. So we have a, let's say we have a quarrel, we have a discussion, and if we have this notion that truth should prevail, the justice should prevail, or righteousness should prevail, then I will, if I see the righteous comments or righteous understanding, ideologies from the other side, I will be pleased that, okay, you are right. So I accept your point of view. Instead of personal benefit, it takes virtue and divine pleasure as the goal. So if you think about only benefits, your personal benefit in life, you will never be satisfied. If you take the virtue, oh, I'm doing it for the because I want to be virtuous. I want to get the divine pleasure. So then I will help people without any kind of feedback from them. I will help in terms of finances, in terms of knowledge, in terms of other resources that they may need. And then I will do it not for my personal benefit, but for the virtue and divine pleasure. And even in nations, even in countries, they may help each other without waiting for a national benefit. For example, some countries are going to certain parts of the world and they are trying to help them, but they are trying to really benefit from their resources. But if you help them, you don't care about what they say, what they feel, but the only motivation is helping them, then you get the virtue and you get the divine pleasure. For example, sometimes parents are telling their kids, oh, when you grow up, you will take care of us, right? No. You raise your kids. Don't wait any kind of personal benefit from it. They will live their lives. If God permits, if God gives it to us, then they will come and serve us. They will be helping us in our old ages. But it's not. We are not training our kids. We are not raising our kids in order for our old ages. It's also a kind of personal benefit idea. Instead of conflict, it establishes mutual cooperation, helping one another. So if there is conflict in a team, everyone wants to take the lead, everyone wants to be the star of the team, and everyone wants to get the appraisals, everyone wants to get the acknowledgement for themselves, then there is like a mutual, you lose the cooperation idea, you lose the helping one another philosophy in a team. Similarly, in social life, if there's always a conflict, if there's always like a kind of struggle in life, powerful will eat the weak, big one will eat the small one, and so on, then it's going to be like always a conflicting environment, which will not give us peace and harmony in our lives. But when we feel like helping one another, mutual cooperation, we call it in Islamic literature, which is ta'awun, تعاونوا على البر والتقوى. Quran says, help each other on the good things and try to be conscious, trying to have the consciousness of being in front of God Almighty. So this should be the main principle of our lives: mutual cooperation, helping one another, not like being in struggle all the time, not like being in fighting all the time. I'm not in my office, in my university. I am not in conflict, in struggle, in competition with others. I am trying to help others. I'm getting help from them so that it becomes like a peaceful and nice, progressive environment. Otherwise, we will be always like talking against each other, trying to slide other people's feet from the ground, and we try to dig their wells and so on. That's what we say in Turkish, dig the wells of others. And in social bonds, instead of racial and nationalistic ties, it recognizes religious, social class, and homeland-based solidarity. For example, we are coming from the same religion. We are whichever country, whichever nation is that person is from, we really feel bonded with that person. When you go to Hajj, you see maybe thousands of people from different nations, from different ethnicities, with different colors. When you see the bonding with them. For example, if you have a nationalistic point of view, you feel like you are the best, you are above everyone, then you don't feel that bonding. And if only about your nation or your race, it's going to be very limited, right? If you feel like you have a bonding about religion, about social class, you are coming from the same, let's say, geography, then you can feel let's say, bonding with people. Here we are trying to compare the wisdom of philosophy or negative philosophy that people are like thinking about right now, that people are affected from, and we are trying to give the wisdom of Quran. So we are trying to read the Quran's approach on the social life and personal life, and I'm about to finish the topic today. So its aim is to restrain. What was the aim of the philosophy that is very common right now? It is trying to satisfy the ego, satisfy the desires and sexual appetite and so on. But the Quran's wisdom, Quran's aim is to restrain the aggressive desires of the ego, encourage the soul toward higher ideals, satisfy humanity's elevated feelings, and guide human beings toward true human perfection. So Quran is teaching us that we are here to restrain our ego, desires our ego, which are aggressive, and it's trying to encourage our soul to become, to have higher ideals. We are not here only to satisfy our ego, to satisfy our desires, to be happy with satisfy our sexual desires and so on. We are here to encourage our souls toward higher ideals and satisfy the humanity's elevated feelings. We should have mercy towards others. We should have compassion towards others. We should have the true human perfection in ourselves. That's the main ideal that Quran is trying to teach us. So, and the last topics that I would like to mention: the nature of truth is unity. The nature of virtue is solidarity, mutual support. The rule of cooperation is coming to one's aid, to one another's aid. We talked about these, right? Haqq, or truth, or righteousness, puts us together And if I do everything for the sake of virtue, then we will help each other without any personal benefit expectations. If we have a cooperation, if we have help in the mood of helping each other, then we will be seeking help easily, we will be helping others easily, and so on, without expecting any personal satisfaction, personal interest, and so on. The nature of religion is brotherhood and mutual attraction. So what Quran is showing us is the brotherhood among people. Even we as Muslims, we think that all creatures are brothers and sisters of each other, even the animals, even the plants or other creations. Why? Because we know that we are coming from one God. One God Almighty is the creator of everything. I'm one of the creation, another one is another creation, another being is another creation. So we are the brothers in this life. So we cannot be harming them, we cannot be destroying them. That brings us environmental awareness, that brings us social awareness, and so on. So by disciplining the ego, while freeing the spirit, while freeing the soul through striving towards perfection, this is the goal, guys. This is the goal of Quran's wisdom. Disciplining the ego while freeing the spirit through striving toward perfection, it brings about happiness in this life and the hereafter. So we want happiness in this life, and as the believers, we believe in hereafter, and the life after death is eternal, and we want to be happy there also. How can we attain this happiness in both worlds? By disciplining the ego, by restraining our desires, our appetites, while freeing the spirit through striving toward perfection. So the spirit is the main actor in our lives. Our soul is trying to be a better person, is trying to feel the satisfaction, spiritual satisfaction, and so on. So I try to compare two wisdoms today. As I said, this is a channel in which we are trying to read interpretation of Quran, and it has topics in it. We talked about meaning of life until now, the rationales behind the hereafter. Why do we have hereafter after this life? And we talked about wisdoms of Ramadan, because we are in Ramadan right now. And tonight I try to share with you the comparison between Quranic wisdom, Quranic understanding, and now Western understanding or negative philosophical understanding, which is now affecting many people, including Muslims. Thank you for joining tonight. And I would like to, if you have any questions, you can put your questions under the video after this live session is over. Thank you very much for joining. Have a nice week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.